Welcome to CryptoCurrenSHE, a podcast by smart women smushing everything crypto and blockchain into busy mom lives, ensuring the where, how, and what we're learning so you don't have to spend your precious minutes asking the questions. Anything discussed in the podcast is not financial advice, and as with everything parenting, do your own research.
Hi, I'm Jen, and this is the CryptoCurrenSHE podcast. Hannah, what are we talking about today?
We are going to talk about wallets today, which may seem like a little bit of a jump from our beginners stuff from what we've been talking about on Instagram lately, if you follow us on there. If you don't, make sure you do. We want to talk a little bit about security because when it comes to purchasing cryptocurrencies, it comes, say you've bought your Ethereum, you bought your Bitcoin or your ADA, your Dogecoin, or whatever it is that you're purchasing. Where do you put it? How do you keep it safe? How do you make sure that someone's not going to take it from you or scam you out of it? Where are the safest places to keep this after you purchase it? So we feel like this isn't something that's talked about enough. So we wanted to dive into it as one of our first topics. So that way, as you're purchasing cryptocurrency and you're going on this crypto journey, you are able to keep all of your assets where they belong, in your wallet, and you're keeping them as safe as possible.
And I want to expand on that a little bit. I think one of the things we want to make sure that we establish at the beginning of any of these podcasts is kind of the assumptions that Hannah and I are making. There's so much information out there from a beginner standpoint, and we really want to be the now what. We want to be teaching kind of one level beyond the beginners. So today we're going to make some assumptions, and we're going to assume you already know what a wallet is at the most basic level, and you know how to get a wallet. If not, we'll link up some resources down below on some of the best videos we've seen about how to get a wallet. You've already linked your bank account. You've already done your research and know what crypto you're buying, whether it's long-term, short-term. And we'll get into how we research projects in a later podcast. But what we really want to talk about today, like Hannah said, is the security aspect of the differences between all the wallets. It's a term that gets thrown around everywhere. And our core tenet here at CryptoCurrenSHE is we want you to be informed. We want you to understand what you're doing. So Hannah, what are all the different kinds of wallets?
Well, wallets are basically divided into two different types. There's a hot wallet and there's a cold wallet. And there are many different brands or varieties of wallets, if you might consider it in that way. But a hot wallet is basically a wallet that is it's connected to the internet. It's online. It's live, it's hot. And then you have a cold wallet, which would be something where it's almost like a USB drive where you download your assets onto. By assets, we mean like Bitcoin, Ethereum, NFTs, those sorts of things. You download them basically onto your cold wallet, and you can keep them offline. So when we're talking about safety and security, obviously a cold wallet is the safest and most secure, but it also has the most security protocols for you to remember to get into it, which is really important because obviously you don't want to forget any of those because you want to be able to access your assets later on when you decide you want to sell or view your NFTs or whatever it might be.
Well, and I think one of the biggest things that is an obstacle to crypto is some of it sounds so confusing, right? And when we talk about this, it's like, well, when do I use which one? And how do I know what a good one is, and all of those? And do I start with a cold wallet? Do I start with a hot wallet? What is on an exchange? Is that my wallet too? Do I need another wallet in addition to that? What is an exchange?
Exchanges An exchange is where you purchase your digital assets, which would be you purchase your Bitcoin there, or you purchase your Ethereum there, which are cryptocurrencies. And we've discussed that on our Instagram in our basics course. You can find it in the highlights reels on our page if you're interested in diving a little further into that. But you can go on an exchange, basically like a shop. You can go into an exchange, you can look to see what's available and what the prices are, and then you can purchase one Bitcoin, or you can purchase 12, or you can purchase one Dogecoin, or you can purchase, 25,000. It really depends on what you're in the market for. But that is where you take your US dollars, you put your credit card in just like you were online shopping, and you can make an exchange for US dollars, and then you get your cryptocurrency asset in exchange, which is aptly named because that's exactly what you're doing. You're exchanging funds for a different type of fund, like you would if you were traveling and you needed a different type of currency to a different country. So exchange is where it all starts. There are some wallets on exchanges. And I think that's kind of where everyone starts. I don't know, Jen, did you ever, I'm assuming you have a wallet on an exchange somewhere. I think everybody kind of starts there.
Yeah, it's the easiest way to start is with an exchange. And it doesn't have to be US dollars. Like, it's whatever currency that you're trading in. Just like if I'm starting in Brazil, I'm using whatever my Brazilian currency is. If I'm starting in Japan, I can use that. And so that's the great part about an exchange, is it doesn't matter what you're using. It's just like when I leave the house, a crypto wallet is just like the wallet I'm using when I'm leaving the house. I'm putting my money in and I'm going shopping. An exchange is just a place to go shopping. And it is the easiest place. I think everybody does kind of start with one. Obviously there's some tougher ones like Metamask, which are a little more confusing, and you're leaping in there. But most everybody, especially right now, I think is starting with a crypto exchange or an exchange wallet. Yes. Sorry. Most everybody. So when I open a Coinbase account, right, like I'm starting with my Coinbase wallet and I'm going to buy some crypto. And the big key I think we want to talk about is, when do you move it off the exchange and into a different wallet? Because leaving coins on an exchange is a really bad idea. It's like leaving your money on the floor of the bank. Like, technically it should be safe, but that's not the best route to go. And you could put it in the bank vault. If the bank gets robbed, it's the same thing, right? Like, you're going to lose your money. Mm-hmm. So unless you're actively trading, you should be moving those coins off the exchange and into your own wallet, whether that's a hot wallet or a cold wallet. You need to be transferring those off an exchange unless you're actively trading.
Jen, how would you define actively trading? Is that like, would that be like monthly trading, or like trading on the daily, or?
Yeah, I mean, like I would think, to me, actively trading is anything less than 3 months. And maybe even less than that. Like, seriously, if I know if I've done my research and I'm buying a coin, I know, all right, I'm going to hold this for, 6 months or a year. There is no reason for that coin to be on an exchange. If I'm buying a coin that I'm like, okay, I'm going to buy this today and I'm going to sell it in 3 days, I might leave that on an exchange. Mm-hmm. But that's not the way I by, I mean, my strategy is really different. And so for me, I'm moving them off quickly. Like there's just no reason to leave them on an exchange. And if I know I'm gonna sell some within a week, I'll move them onto the exchange and maybe sit there and think about it, or, you know, go change the laundry around and forget what I was doing. So I'll need to come back to the exchange and what those are on there. But just as a general rule, leaving coins on an exchange for the average person, definitely, I think our audience, I think is not the best idea.
Yeah, I have different investments in different places as far as crypto goes. You know, you have Coinbase and crypto.com, which I think personally, like I'm the most active on, just because in the US, that's just what's accessible to me here. But like I keep some on an exchange personally, and then I have some also like staked in I guess you would consider them hot wallets as well, because they are online, but they have seed phrases and they have a lot more security. I personally don't have a cold wallet, which might be difficult for you to believe.
I am shocked. Color me shocked right now.
I should. And I've been thinking about getting a cold wallet for some time now, because I feel like I'm getting to that point where I'm thinking, like, if something were to happen to me, from my perspective right now, although it might not be, you know, to anybody else, I have what I consider a pretty sizable investment for where I am in my season of life. And I want to make sure that if something ever happened to me, like my husband would be able to figure out, you know, like a game plan, like how do I access this weird stuff that my wife's been buying on the internet? Like, you know, so I think it would be really smart, especially for like parents who, you know, are thinking to the future, to have a cold wallet. That's kind of like my line of thinking. Like I can keep everything right there on that wallet. I'm not day trading. Like that's not the life for me. Can't do it. Anxiety. So I think that if you're planning on, like, personal opinion, if you're planning on purchasing and just holding for the next, you know, year, 2 years or more, if you're holding for retirement, or, you know, the next big bull run where you're going to cash out and like pay off your mortgage or whatever your plan is, you know, long term, then a cold wallet is probably the way to go for you. And it's the safest. But like I said before, there is a lot more security with a cold wallet, like as far as, you know, your passwords and your seed phrases and that sort of thing. That's what makes it safer, but you also have to keep track of all of that. So
can I pick on you for a minute?
Go ahead.
Because I don't think you're uncommon at all. Like I think you are the majority when it comes to wallets. Like it's the cold wallets or the should, right? Like I should have a cold wallet.
Yes.
Right. And so what do you think is your big obstacle of getting a cold wallet? Like why do you think you haven't gotten one?
Honestly, I just haven't done it. I haven't done it. I haven't sat down and researched how much it is. I haven't, you know, like purchasing the actual device. I know it wouldn't be that difficult for me to set up, just because I have multiple wallets online, various different types of hot wallets. I'm familiar, you know, with staking, which is something we'll get into, you know, at a later date. But I just really haven't, I don't really have a good excuse to why I haven't done it yet, but it's something that I've been thinking about more and more lately, especially with the downturn in the markets recently, realizing that, okay, well, I'm clearly like, it's just solidifying my plan. Like, I'm not going to do anything with this for quite some time. It's time, I think, for me to get them off of various hot wallets into a cold storage. even if it is, I think you kind of have to look at your plan though. Like some of them, like I'm staking them. So I'm gonna have to figure out how to stake them via a cold wallet versus a hot wallet. I'm happy with the security of one of my hot wallets where I'm staking. I don't think that I'll probably move those over, but like there's some coins that I purchase that I'm not planning on selling for the next 10 years or so. So I think that those would probably be the first ones. Like I know those aren't going anywhere. I'm going to put those on my cold wallet and I'm just going to let them sit. It's also going to take the temptation away from me to like, oh, they had a great, like I could cash them out. I can make like, $200 and, in the long run, that's not going to matter, Hannah. Like just leave them. Like it's not that big of a deal. Just let them, just let them do their thing. Check back on them in 5 years and see how they look then.
I think that's a good point though. I think when we think about cold wallets in terms of the strategy, right? Like the overall strategy, which is what I think you and I are so focused on, which is we want people coming into this with a strategy instead of just FOMOing in and, pinballing their way through this stuff. I think we really want people to come in with a really dedicated strategy. And I think one of those strategies should be, okay, I'm going to research the thing, I'm going to buy the thing, and I'm going to decide when I'm moving it to my hot wallet, when I'm moving it to my cold wallet. I think that's all part of the bigger picture, right? Of what is not just the long-term horizon, but where does it live? When do I move it? And so I think that's a question that not enough people are including in their strategy. They know they want to hodl, but they're not thinking about the 3 steps that are, okay, I gotta research a wallet, I gotta buy a wallet, I gotta plug the wallet in, I gotta do all the things that come with a cold wallet.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things I'll bring up right now, I just got asked by Investopedia to start doing a bunch of research into wallets. And so we'll start linking those too as well. If that helps anybody with that gap, like Hannah's saying, of I don't have time, and we want to try to take a lot of the heavy lifting out for our listeners. And I think that's part of it, which is why I agreed to do this, was so that I could have one that I can say, look, here's a handful that I've researched, here's the breakdown, here's the pros and cons, here's the cost, so that, people like you that, like I said, I think you're in the majority. I think a lot of people just don't have that as a thing that they've done yet, even though they know they should. And man, when I look at the exchanges that have gotten hacked just in the last couple of weeks,
Yeah.
it's sucky. And I think that's another good point too. Not every cold wallet holds every coin.
Yes.
And so that's another big piece to remember before you buy a wallet. What are your coins? What's in your portfolio? Is the wallet that you're buying going to support those? And as with any wallet and moving things back and forth, making sure that you're moving Ethereum to an Ethereum wallet, you're moving Bitcoin to a Bitcoin wallet.
That's really, really, really important point that I want to just highlight by saying it's really, really, really important. I talked a little bit on Instagram about blockchains. And it's important to note that blockchains are all separate right now. We don't really have much cross-chain communication, and those are things that are in the works, and it gets kind of technical and whatever. But so you have your major blockchains right now are going to be like Bitcoin has its own blockchain, and Ethereum has its own blockchain. And this is pretty basic. I touched a little bit on it on our Instagram stories. You can find it in our highlights. It's labeled blockchain. And then, like Cardano has its own blockchain, BNB coin has its own blockchain. So if you accidentally put in that you're sending, I'm going to send 2 Bitcoin to Jen, but I send it to her Ethereum wallet, she is not going to receive it. And it's going to be gone forever. You can't recover it. So it's important to know what you're investing in, and that you're investing in a wallet that's on the same blockchain as the whatever it is that you're investing in. So if you're investing in Ether, which is Ethereum or ETH, you want to make sure that you are purchasing a wallet or using a wallet. If you choose to use a hot wallet online, that you use one that supports ETH, because if you send ETH to a Bitcoin wallet, you're going to be out of luck and you're going to be very, very upset with yourself. And I think we all go through something like that in the process of learning how this all works. We all make a really dumb mistake. We look back on it and we're like, that was really stupid. But I think it helps us learn. But we're here to say, don't do that, because we've done it and it sucks.
It does. And I think a couple of really good safety nets are like, I'll do a test. Like if I'm sending like 1,000 coins, I'll send 10. And then I'll sit there and make sure that first transaction goes through. It's a long string of numbers right now. I mean, I've seen a couple different things where we're getting some better solutions, but right now it's a long string of numbers and you want to triple check it. And to make this simple to understand, if I Venmo somebody and it's not somebody that I'm friends with, and it's just Gen G 462783, I hope it's going to the right Venmo account. But if they don't have a profile picture or whatever, right? Like I'm mostly guessing, and Venmo obviously now is putting in some safeguards, please enter that person's 4-digit number or last 4 digits of their phone number or whatever. You don't have those safeguards when it comes to wallets. And I think that's one of the scariest learning curves about crypto is there is no forgot your password. There is no recall that transaction. There is no customer service for Bitcoin. If I send 2 Bitcoin to Hannah and I send it to the wrong account, I can't call customer service. It's gone. And whoever's wallet it ended up in is like, sweet.
Yeah, they aren't going to send it back.
Right.
I mean, odds are anyways, they're not going to send it back.
Right.
It's not like it's, I don't know. I wouldn't. I'd be like, where did this come from? What am I supposed to do with it? I don't know.
Right. Like, and how do you, right. Exactly. So, go slow, like on these transactions, take your time, verify everything, do little transactions, before you send a big one. You can save addresses. I have a bunch whitelisted. Like I tip my massage therapist in crypto. And so I have her wallet saved. We did an original tester. It worked. I sent her the big one and now she's whitelisted. And so that's been really handy. And so that's one of the reasons why I'll leave some crypto on a hot wallet. Like I know, and none of this is financial advice. Hannah's been throwing around a lot of crypto names. I love Doge, like it changed my life like last year, but you should do your own research. I keep some Doge on an exchange because I'm moving it quickly and easily to people. I love tipping people with it. And it's just easy. So could I do that from a regular hot wallet? Yes. But I exchange it a lot. And so I have some Doge that I leave sitting on an exchange because I'm moving that quite a bit, and swapping it and exchanging it for stuff. But that's because that's my strategy with that particular coin. And so You can whitelist addresses, so you're not having to look at them all the time. You know,
can rename them.
Yes.
So I can like put like Jen Grayson, and then that way I know that we've had a successful transfer in the past. So we're good to go. Like I've called that number on my cell phone before. She's answered. I know that's her number. So I can add her to my address book.
Exactly.
Which is why you do, which is why Jen was saying you do a small amount, send $10 at first and make sure it goes through. Confirm with her and then send more if that was your agreement. So.
Exactly. Yes. Yes.
I think there's different levels of hot wallets. There are exchange wallets, and there are wallets like Metamask and Trust Wallet, like those sorts of things. I'm not endorsing these by any means. They just tend to be the most popular ones. People know what they are. So like, say you're on crypto.com or Coinbase and you purchase $100 worth of ETH because you've been thinking about purchasing this NFT or whatever. So you need to purchase the ETH first on the exchange, and then it automatically goes into your exchange's wallet. You don't have to do anything for that to happen. Once you buy it on the exchange, it's just in your account on the exchange, which is your wallet. And you go through all that setup process before you purchase the ETH. So then at that point, you have to send the ETH to some other place where you can purchase this NFT. So if that is the goal, we're going to say that is for this instance. So you send it to a wallet, which is has the capabilities of the blockchain that you're on. Of course, you are purchasing Ethereum. So like Metamask and Trust Wallet, I believe, are both multi-coin wallets. So you can use them for multiple different coins. And there's different ways to set it up. We're not going to go into that specifically on here, but we can link some episodes that show you how to do that to set up your wallet. But once it's on MetaMask, then you can take it and you can start like making purchases with it. And that's really like, there's two levels. Like it's on the exchange, like it's in the bank, it's technically yours, you own it, but it's still on the exchange. It's like having $20 in the bank. Okay, well, it's in the bank, but you can't really do anything with it if it's in the bank. So you've got to go to the bank, you've got to take it out, and you've got to actually like put it in your wallet, like physically, which is where wallet comes from. And then you can go out to Target and get whatever the heck Target tells you to get that day. But that's the general idea. So MetaMask, we'll just talk about that one because it's the one that I think a lot of people are familiar with. It's an Ethereum blockchain-based wallet. When you set it up, there's a seed phrase, and the seed phrase is just like a random combination of a bunch of words. And that's your security phrase. That is your password to get into that wallet. So if you lose that, or if I get a hold of it, or someone's super shady and they want to take all your money, they have access to do that at that point. If they find those words on the ground somewhere on a piece of paper, because you lost it, they can access that wallet and send your money to their wallet with no problems. So it's very, very important that when you transfer off of an exchange, or really anywhere, because I believe exchanges have the seed phrase too, that you make sure that you write down that seed phrase and keep it in a very, very, very safe place, because like Jen said, there is no customer service to recover that. If you lose your password, if you lose your seed phrase, and I cannot stress this enough, you lose whatever's in there. I think isn't there like there's like a guy that purchased, this is kind of going off on a tangent. There's a guy that purchased like, God, I don't even know, like 10,000 Bitcoins or something.
Yeah,
and
it's
like,
a lot. It's a lot. Like it's like,
and he knows that they're there.
Money.
Yeah. And he knows that they're there. He knows they exist. He knows that he has a wallet, but he threw out his seed phrase. And can you imagine? No,
I mean, that's literally, I threw out the lottery ticket. Like it's the number that I use every time. And it's in my house somewhere. And I just need to find it. Absolutely. And I can't imagine. There's the one guy who, I think paid a bunch of money to go through the landfill also to like find his computer or something. No,
You
there's
blame the
stories-
guy though? I
Yes.
mean, geez.
Well,
That's
and oh, but for $3 million,
if you doing almost anything, yeah.
yeah, no, I
Yeah.
totally get it. I totally
That's enough.
get it.
That's enough to break a person. Like if you don't find it, like that's enough to be like, all right, I think I'm done here.
Yeah.
Like that. I'm like sweating thinking about it. Like it bothers me a lot.
No, it's a serious one. Well, and I think that's another layer of security too. The person who taught me about crypto and how to get in, also said when you write your seed phrase down, you put it in a Ziploc bag. And so that way, if it gets wet, you can still read those words.
I've heard that.
So before you store it in your super safe location, when I had my first blockchain company, we were storing the actual hardware in one safety deposit box, and we were storing our seed phrase somewhere completely offsite, somewhere different. And so, there's a lot of things that you can do to take even an extra layer of security. Please don't copy and paste your seed phrase and put it and email it to yourself. Like that's not a good way to do it. When you think about just the ways to hack this, like you really want to go back to old school. You want to write down your address. You want to look at any of the letters, L's and ones and zeros and O's. And then you want to practice getting back into them. I think that's the biggest thing is, especially when you're a beginner, set up your cold wallet, and then before you move anything to it, make sure you can get back into it, and we had one really great question too about what happens if my cold wallet breaks? What happens if I drop it in the toilet? Which, we're all carrying our cold wallets into the toilet with us. They're on us all the time. This was a great question. It made me giggle. But in the event that a hardware wallet fails, because they do, right? Like, hardware fails. It just does. As long as you have your seed phrase, you can restore, and wallet address, you can restore an old wallet. And so that's like the backup to the backup to the backup. And so there are ways to make sure that you can back up things. And same thing with your hot wallet. If you have a hot wallet on your phone, and there's all kinds of apps you can download, there's and again, like we haven't, we're not endorsing any of these, but I have my first hot wallet was IM token, but I lose phones like every 6 months. Like I'm breaking them, I'm dropping those in the toilet. And so when I have to replace my phone, I've got to replace my hot wallets. And so I've got to go get my wallet address, my seed phrase, all of those components so that I can restart that hot wallet. And so you want to test that, like do that every now and then to make sure you remember where your stuff is, one, and that it still works, that still know how to do it. At least in the beginning, just practice the stuff, because you don't want it to be like this guy that was like, yeah, I don't know, I've got some, wait, Bitcoin's at what again? Where is my seed phrase? I put it somewhere really important, and that was 3 houses ago, and I have no idea where it is now.
With crypto, you get an amazing amount of freedom. I think that's really what crypto essentially is, like at its core, is being decentralized. It's not governed by any agency. There's no banks, there's no board of directors, there's no one saying approving and disproving transactions. It's completely community run. which is the fantastic part about about crypto. But it's also like, it can be kind of like the wild, wild west out there. Like, it's up to you to be responsible for your funds. If you lose them, again, there is no one to call to get them recovered. So you have to be the one that looks out for yourself. And that's a really, really important point, again, that I want to hit home. You can't call Coinbase customer service and ask them to retrieve your 2 Bitcoins that you accidentally sent to the wrong blockchain address. I think that's what we love about crypto, is just that it's essentially community driven, and it's decentralized, but we have to have the wherewithal as users to protect ourselves. Another point I wanted to make about what you were saying, Jen, is I wanted to again highlight the fact that these wallets, they are not tied to your device. So like, if you do send your device through a shredder, or if it gets stomped on by a horse, or whatever happened, weird thing, your child puts it in their hot chocolate cup, you never know. Okay. There's weirder things have happened. You can access that anywhere. You can access it from your computer, you can access it from someone else's phone, which I would not recommend, but you can. As long as you know your seed phrase. It's like your Gmail account, like if your computer crashes, well, you lose all the stuff that was locally saved on your computer, but you don't lose all your emails. You don't lose your Google Drive documents. Like, everything is still there waiting for you to log in somewhere else. You just have to know your seed phrase.
You have to know your seed phrase.
Yes.
And don't tell anybody your seed phrase. Like, seriously, like, please don't ever give that to anybody.
Yes.
One of the things that we haven't talked about, which is the thing that gets me the most irate the fastest, is custodial wallets. And this, I think, is a big misconception. So a lot of people are buying crypto on Robinhood. And
here we go.
The Cash App and Venmo. I think Kraken is still custodial.
Could you define custodial wallets for us?
I would love to. So a custodial wallet means that you are just giving the bank $20 to put in the community pot. It's like the middle of Monopoly. And they say, okay, Hannah is in for $10. And she never gets to actually hold those coins in her wallet, which means she can't buy NFTs with those. She can't, nothing. Basically, if I'm buying any crypto on Robinhood, it is, as of today, as we're recording this, it is in the giant Robinhood wallet. One wallet, one single wallet. And they just marked me down on some spreadsheet somewhere that Jen bet that this Doge was going to go up. And then when I try to withdraw my Doge, Robinhood has the ability to suspend withdrawals because, and this is going to get real technical here for a minute, they have to front one. They are required by law to front run the trading that's happening. They have to have X amount above and beyond the amount that's being purchased. And so they have to freeze transactions. They're required to, because they're in the US and they have US residents. The intention of that was to keep everybody safe, way back, supposedly, when they put that law into effect, and I'll probably have a rant about that on Twitter later. But when we think about custodial wallets, it's so easy to go on Robinhood and open an account, or buy crypto using Venmo.
Or PayPal.
Or PayPal, right? Anywhere. It's like, sweet, I own 20 bucks PayPal. If I can't move that off of PayPal into another wallet, it is in a custodial wallet. And there's a phrase that we use in the crypto community, which is not your keys, not your wallet, or not your coins, sorry. And so if you don't have custodial, if you don't have the keys to your wallet, if you don't have that seed phrase, if you can't move those coins out of that wallet without liquidating them, you don't own those coins. They're not yours. And so you've got to make sure when you're going into these, basically, if it's not asking you for a seed phrase, it's probably a custodial wallet. I bought some the other day on, I don't know, the Cash App or something. And it said, it was like, you can move this to a different wallet. And I was like, all right, it's just a couple bucks. I'm going to see how hard this is. Like, I just wanted to try it and see. And it was really easy. I need to go back in and see if I can move that out of that wallet, because if I can't, it's in a custodial wallet, which means the only way I can get that out of there is to liquidate it, which is a mandatory taxable event. And then I got to buy it back somewhere else, which is exactly what happened to me on Robinhood with the Doge that I bought on there. I started stacking on there because I was lazy, because it was easy, because I didn't bother doing my homework. It was a quarter of a penny, so who cared? But then when it started going bananas, I was like, oh shit, I can't move this now. This is in a custodial wallet. And a lot of people, I mean, and I'm using Doge as the example because that's a big one that people, I think, got caught up in this last year.
That was the big news when they froze, because they froze all the transactions.
Yes.
You couldn't, like, literally everything was frozen. Like, you could sit there and watch that ticker decrease or increase. Like, that thing was falling and you wanted to get out because you were at the top. You couldn't.
Nope.
So I think the main point to make here is that custodial wallets are not on the blockchain.
Nope.
So if you want to be in full control of your coins and your investments, I mean, I have a few bucks in PayPal's custodial wallet in Ethereum personally, just because someone transferred it to me. I don't have my bank like set up to transfer that money out. It was like 20 bucks or something. So I just threw it in Ethereum. Why not? Right. But I don't like, I'm not going to like, woohoo, 20 bucks, I'm not going to like go on a power selling spree with $20. But if I have like $10,000 worth of Ethereum, do not put it in PayPal. Do not put it on Robinhood. Find yourself a wallet that is non-custodial, that has keys for your own good. Preferably, if it's that much money, you want to make sure it's on a cold wallet for sure.
Right.
So,
yeah. And that's, I think it's really important that we understand, if it's too easy right now, pause, take a minute and think about it. And, we want to be on exchanges that aren't freezing accounts. You should be able to trade your money however you want to. And so when you're doing your research on exchanges, whether that's Coinbase or Robinhood or, I think eToro is custodial as well, PayPal, Cash App, like any of those, right? Like, honestly, you need to do as much research on your custodial wallets as you do on any of your other wallets, on any of your exchanges. Like, make sure it's not a custodial wallet. Just don't buy on a custodial wallet, because now, and I can't transfer, like, my massage therapist was on Robinhood, but I couldn't transfer anything to her. And so I was like, okay, I can't even tip people. I can't do anything with that. I couldn't send it to Hannah. I couldn't send it to my brother. I couldn't send it to my kids. I couldn't do anything. And it is right. Like Robinhood's wallet is on the blockchain. Right. They're one big wallet. But the rest of those transactions, we have no idea, and so we lose the transparency, which is what we all really love about blockchain, is being able to see, okay, well, how many wallets right now are holding this coin? Like, that's part of my research. And so when you look at, and we'll just keep using Doja as an example. Everybody freaked out for a minute because there was this one giant wallet that had all the Doge in it. And we were like, yeah, it's an exchange. And so now it's no longer centralized either. Like, because if they wanted to be nefarious, they could have done all kinds of things with that single wallet. And there's lots of stories where that's happened, where, the money's been in a single wallet and the guy who owns the wallet disappears.
Yeah.
And so, make sure it's in your wallet and you have control over that stuff.
I think these custodial wallets are a good way, kind of like when you first start trading stocks, they're a good way to like dip your feet in and get an idea of what things are like. And then once you start getting more serious about it, you start realizing this is actually like limiting what I can do. So I think you naturally sort of come to that point where you're like, oh, like this is my aha moment where it's time to get a different wallet. But if you're listening to this and you don't have one, this is your sign. Go ahead, find a multi-coin wallet or find a wallet on the blockchain that you're interested in and switch it over there. And then once you get to the point where you're like, you know what, I'm really uncomfortable with having all my funds in this hot wallet that's linked to the internet, it's time for a cold wallet. And I think everybody's aha moments for each one of those steps are going to be dependent on your plan. So yeah, for sure.
And I know we've reiterated a lot of stuff and it probably sounds like we're like beating a dead horse, but this is bar none the most important part. I mean, honestly, like I feel like we can't stress wallet security enough, which is why we just keep harping on some of these factors. They're crucial. Yeah,
we definitely moved this one to the front of the line. Jen and I had a heated discussion about when this
debate. It was a lively debate
about when this episode should happen, when we should record it. Should it be later on? Should it be midway through? That sort of thing. And I think in the end, like security is so important, even though it might not be the most exciting part. Like it's certainly not going to be very exciting if someone swoops in and steals all your Bitcoin or steals all of whatever you purchased, because that's money you worked hard for. It might not be US dollars or whatever country it is that you're listening in, but that's an investment that you worked hard for, no matter how much it is. And we don't want to see anyone, especially, people who are tuning in to listen to us, go through that. So one of our first conversations we wanted to have was security and the difference between wallets. We've talked a lot about a lot of different things in this episode.
I have one more thing that we forgot about.
Oh,
speaking of hard-earned, let's talk about the free stuff. What about airdrops? When they say, oh, just link your wallet and we'll send you a free a token that you can use to get in this NFT minting, whatever. How secure is that? Like what's your recommendation for that?
Block user. If anyone ever approaches you to give you something free, then I'm done. I'm out. I'm not interested. If they are like DMing me, and they're like, all you have to do is click this link. Don't click the link. Okay. It's just like email. When someone is like, the Nigerian prince has, emailed you because he apparently had no living heirs, and you are the only person in the entire world that can inherit his fortune. If it's too good to be true, like it is, they're trying to get access to your wallet. So there are airdrops. There are these things called airdrops, which we can discuss later. But they're basically where, because you're a loyal customer of a certain project, or you've been around for a long time, that project will give you additional coins, but you usually don't have to do anything for that. They literally airdrop it into your wallet because they know your wallet address. And it's coming from a reputable source. Like that project is emailing you and saying, hey, or they're announcing on their Twitter, like, watch out for this, 20,000 coins in your wallet from our airdrop or whatever. If it seems sketchy, then it's sketchy. Don't do it. Like, we all know how this works. It's just a different form of the exact same thing that's been happening forever, ever since technology and email was a thing. So just have your wits about you, make good decisions, don't be falling for stuff like that, because that's silly. Nobody wants to be that person.
Yeah, it's just use common sense, I think, even in this space, and remember that we're still so early. We're so ahead of the game. Take your time, slow down. FOMO gets a hold of the best of us. And so just go slow and methodical, and send us questions. Like, we want to hear about it. This was probably one of our longest podcasts. Well, to date, it is our longest podcast. And also, we really wanted to cover this one. So
yeah, it's important that we put extra time on it, because it's literally the basis of everything, like where you keep your stuff, like, and how to keep it safe and how to not let other people take your stuff. It's the most important point that we can make in any of the podcasts that we will make in the future. And we'll probably revisit this at some point. You'll hear it again, I'm sure.
Yes. Okay, that's it for us today. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Thanks, guys.
All right. See you all. That wraps up our conversation for today. If you have any suggestions or questions regarding this episode or any others, please let us know on social media. Thanks for finding the time to visit with us, and we hope to chat with you again soon here at cryptocurrenSHE.